Welcome to Bloody Good Horror, covering the best and worst of the horror genre since Halloween 2007. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello everybody and welcome to Bloody Good Horror. My name is Eric and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be discussing Last Shift, a movie with people in it that's on Netflix.
A 2014 horror film we had to squeeze in before the end of the year.
I'm the editor-in-chief over at bloodygoodhorror.com. Joining me tonight, the people who make this magical website happen every single day. First up, he loves beer. He is the manic personality behind our wildly successful Twitter account. His name is Joe.
Wildly successful. I like that.
Out of nowhere today, I was followed on Twitter by a porn star, and my first thought was, I don't know how, but I'm sure Joe has something to do with this.
Which one?
I don't know. We can talk about it later.
If you follow the breadcrumbs, they lead to a porn star.
Next up on the show, he is a web developer, and he builds bloodygoodhorror.com. He lives in Chicago, and his name is Mark.
Hi.
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 Next up on the show, he's the business manager of bloodygoodhorror.com. He also just so happens to be the wind beneath my wings. His name is John Schnars.
Oh,
Mustacheless. I did not give you
clean
permission.
shaven wind beneath your
Yeah, I
wings.
did not give you permission to shave.
you know, I did it for you. Eric, I was going to ask, was it a male or female porn star? This was important.
It was a lady.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. That's less exciting.
Last up tonight, from BGH, the new class, her name is Sophie.
Hey y'all, what's up?
What's up, y'all?
What up?
Sophie,
Good to be back.
as the only lady here tonight, do you prefer Schnars with the mustache or without?
I kind of miss it.
Oh.
I have serious facial hair envy as a lady, so I feel like if you can grow facial hair as a dude, you should.
Like, to
Yeah,
say that I can
okay.
grow facial hair is generous, but, you know, I'll take it.
They call it facial hair.
I mean, Joe's rocking some facial hair right now.
Okay.
He's got a little dirt stash going on.
I've just been too lazy to shave this week.
Creeping out all of the children.
You know, Joe, it softens you a little bit. It makes you look a little more approachable.
I am wearing a collar.
Yeah, that's right. Sensitive shirt.
This
I
is
like it.
Biz Cash, Joe. I don't know if you guys know, but I work in advertising.
It's not
so
even Friday yet, Joe. You're
This
letting
is
loose.
what we do.
Yeah.
Biz Caj is also your rap name. That's your.
2 weeks ago on Friday, my boss actually came up to me and said, "Oh wow, you look really Friday today."
Oh man, did you go? Oh shit.
Is that like the workplace equivalent to, "Oh, you look really comfortable"?
Yeah. So I now that I wear a tie to work every day, it's super sad how excited I get about Casual Friday.
I didn't know you wore a tie.
Like I plan it out all week. I'm
Why-
thinking about
hey,
what I'm
haven't
gonna
you
wear
told me
Friday.
this?
Yeah, what?
I'm with John. We've never seen a picture of you with a
Every
tie.
day. I have them in my phone because I send them to my wife because she doesn't believe it either.
How many ties do you own? Like, I own actually a lot of ties,
So,
but not a lot of shirts.
I buy my ties on Amazon for about $5.99 a pop from this reseller. I'm sure they're like sewed
Do you-
by child slaves
Tie,
in Indonesia
ties
or
of the
something.
recently deceased.
Do you,
But so I have maybe like 7 or 8.
do you have any like whimsical ties? Like, are there ties of
They're
whimsy?
all solid. Solid
Oh,
colors.
That's
What?
big Tim Newell's deal. He's got hundreds of novelty ties.
Novelty, yeah, like hot dog,
I-
like just a hot dog.
I bought.
I
him
I have a Nyan Cat tie. You guys know Nyan Cat?
that. Oh yeah,
Yeah. Internet people know about that.
it's the cat. That's also the Pop Tart.
I'm trying to be professional and sophisticated, Schnars.
I think you guys should set a Patreon level where if we get enough support, you will all wear ties.
I would do that
On
on
the
the show, on the
podcast.
stream. That's
That's
great.
pretty good. I'm
pretty
I'm
awesome.
down for that.
Wait, do I have to wear a
$5,000.
collared shirt though, or just the tie?
You don't have to wear any shirt. You just have to wear a tie.
I like it.
Oh,
I like
even better. I've actually kind of, and Eric's going to probably give me a hard time about this, but I've started to wear bow ties.
Hard
shit.
time. That's
Do you
magical.
tie them or do
That's
you
the
buy
greatest.
pre-tied bow ties?
Oh, no. I tie them. Are you kidding me?
Are you? Yeah, of course he does the fanciest thing possible.
You've gone full hipster. Good for you.
Have you,
Yeah, it's-
Schnars? Have you become a dandy? A dandyist?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
I think everybody else would.
it's fair. So,
John,
mm-hmm.
it is almost the end of the year. We made it through
The
Thanksgiving.
leaves have changed.
I mean, really, once October's over, it's all just like varying levels of depression until the next fall. But there are other times of year. Some people enjoy them. What are we doing? What's this month
Like
hold
in
in store
general,
for
or
Bloody Good
it's
Horror?
like,
what are you
what
doing with your
is
life, Schnars? That's what I would
going
like to know.
on with our lives. We are wrapping up the year the only way Bloody Good Heart knows how, which is to determine exactly where every film in the year ranks among the Bloody Good Heart community. Because we're not content to just enjoy film, we have to constantly be evaluating and ranking. It's a very American thing. Yeah, so we're putting together our end of year lists. We're going to put together our sort of Uber list, which will be the, I don't know, amalgamation
A
of
list
all
of the favorite
lists.
Ubers we've taken this year.
Yeah. Mine is one long. Yeah, so that's coming, and it's coming pretty soon. The show date is TBD. Joe is trying to really throw a wrench in everyone's,
What I do?
show planning schedules. But I think we're gonna get that locked down soon.
Did we talk about how we're actually going to do that? We're going to let everybody listen in or watch it?
I was just about to talk about that, but thank you, Joe. Yeah, we're gonna stream that live, and it's gonna go live to the world all at once, not just our glorious patrons. And yeah, so look for the date. We'll be announcing it soon, and it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be sassy. That's my feeling.
You have been real sassy lately, like talking shit to Joe over email.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
know. I don't care for
Like
it.
he's not even being constructive anymore. He's just interjecting into conversations, and instead of helping, he's just being like, "Oh yeah, you're a douche." Just like what? He's usually like the one who's all serious and trying to like get shit done. I don't know what's going on with you over there, John.
No, hold on.
Parenthood may have
Let's not pretend
finally
there was no
made you
reason.
snap.
There's definitely reasons. It's more like
Yeah.
So what
They
are the
might be
reasons that you're
overreacting.
suddenly dropping hot bombs in our email conversation?
No, I'm saying it's not like there's no reason that I'm saying things to Joe. Like Joe is instigating men.
Well, that's usually Joe's MO is to not be helpful at all and just say really obnoxious shit in emails.
Yeah, John. There's only room for one of us, all right? You're
And
the
the
smart one.
more serious the email, the more unrelated his non sequitur is.
Yeah.
You're the smart one. I'm the fun, attractive one. Like, I thought that's how we
fair.
were doing this.
You're right. We have roles. I'm sorry. I got out of line.
Hello. Sophie,
Yes.
tell me about some tweet with BGH's is.
Ooh.
So Tweet with BGH is coming back on Sunday. We're switching back to Sundays because we felt like we had more people playing along Sunday nights. Friday night, y'all want to go out and party, I guess, so nobody was watching with us.
Tell me what it is exactly.
So Evan and Spencer and I will simultaneously watch a film and live tweet it, and we encourage all of you to join us. None of the older BGH crew ever does,
No.
but maybe someday they will.
I got
hint,
stuff to
God.
do. I could
Sophie,
probably do.
bedtimes.
I might be able to do Sunday
Seriously.
night.
What time does this start
Sunday
at?
night at 8:30? It's not an unreasonable time.
8:30. What? No.
So this Sunday at 8:30, we will be watching Critters.
Is that on Netflix?
I do not believe so. You will have to rent it.
That's not happening.
It will be worth it. And follow the hashtag tweet with BGH.
Gotta go out to a Blockbuster and then be up to all hours of the evening.
You got to take an Uber over to that fucking Blockbuster to
You
begin
And
with.
kids
then
have
you
fun.
to return it. That's not going to happen.
And then the other cool thing is you guys kind of do write-ups the next day on the site. So if you miss it, check out Bloody Good Horror on Monday, and you can see all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Spencer and Evan do some pretty snarky recaps, so all the best tweets will be on the website the day after, although I think they're going to stick with doing Tuesday recaps.
Evan's always trying to pull me in. Like, I always wake up the next morning and have, like, 3 mentions on Twitter from Evan. Just like, see, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. 10 p.m. every night.
We're going to find a way around it.
When you have his phone number now, just
I mean,
call
like,
him
I
before he
figure, what's
wakes
the
up.
worst thing
He
that could
wakes up.
happen, right? Like, somebody's dead, but then they're still going to be dead in the morning. So that way I have a full night's sleep at least.
That's a good attitude about
Yeah.
it, I guess.
It's a nice, compassionate way to go
Yeah.
about.
Speaking of compassionate, Mark,
Yeah.
party hard.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up in the show just because, like, bring it full circle because you recommended this game to me on the podcast a couple weeks ago. It's like an independent game. You get it off Steam, and it's kind of a 8-bitty, 16-bit type like isometric thing where you are basically a dude who wants to sleep and you're being kept up by a party. It's a very loose framework, but like you basically have to murder everybody at the party without getting caught. It's kind of like a stealth game a little bit, which I like about it. And as you kill people, if you don't hide the bodies, people find them, and then cops show up and like, you know. So it's anyway. So I did a stream of it, and it's on the site. You can check it out. You can.
Well, it's the first time you've ever double streamed something.
Double streamed, and I also literally hadn't even booted it up. All I did was boot it up long enough to set the volume where I wanted it, and then I just jumped right in the stream. So if you want to actually watch me figure out how to play this game and get really frustrated, I would go to youtube.com/BGH video. You can also subscribe to us there. We have a whole bevy of different things that go up in there, including if you're not a patron, these shows go up there eventually. Or if you are a patron, you get those links through there. But
I also think you're understating just how funny you are on the video game videos, because there's moments of silence where you're deeply concentrating and then you're like, fuck, shit.
Yeah, it's funny. I in the first one, I definitely tried to talk more because, like, I don't know, everybody who does streams like that, like, you kind of have your own thing. And I think at some point I just said, you know what, I'm just going to play this game. If people want to watch it, cool. If not, you know, whatever.
But that is your thing.
Yeah. My thing is I don't give a F.
I do. I like when you're trying to explain the game, but you have no idea what's going on.
But
so
because,
then you're just like saying stuff.
well, also, then it distracts me, and then I end up dying, and then I swear again. But Mark, do you want to talk about the very end of the first stream? Because that was a pretty good moment.
Well, I wasn't watching this, so I played the game before, so I knew what to expect, and I was just kind of checking in on the stream periodically to see where Eric was at. And specifically, there's a moment at the end of the first stream where I was watching it on the can, as you do, and I almost lost it. I thought that my fiance's family would be very confused if I burst into hysterical laughter while taking shit
on the toilet. Well, maybe we'll just tease it and we'll get people to go watch the video.
Yeah, but you should definitely watch it. I mean, it's worth it if you watch it all the way through, because like John said, you kind of get to follow Eric's thought process through the whole thing, which is a fascinating throw ride. But there's a moment at the end of the video.
A look inside the mind of a serial killer.
Yeah, it makes the entire thing worth it. I mean, the game is really goofy and pretty fun. And I hope we do more of these streaming videos, because the indie games are like just so easy to get a hold of, and they make for pretty entertaining.
So I didn't stream it last night, but I did play for a little while. It's very, like, oddly enough, it's relaxing, even though it's a game where you're like murdering people, because you just kind of zone into it, because really you just kind of have to watch the people walk around and see the patterns, and then kind of
walk
just make
near the
move.
dumpster. Walk near the dumpster.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. No, it's really fun. It's like $5 on Steam right now too, if you want to like pick it up.
Yeah. I mean, you sound like a psycho, but I will agree that there are moments where you are like just waiting to do something really fucked up in the game, and then have a moment of like, should I be feeling this as a person? Is this okay?
No, I didn't have any of those moments. I definitely at one point in the stream, I was literally at one point in the stream. First of all, it's a video game. Second of all, the whole point of video games is to stab and shoot people, for starters. Second of all, there's one point I literally was involuntarily like saying stab out loud when I stabbed people. It's just like stab. You stabbed, just like, oh, it was just, it's a great game, man.
When does Laura move to Boston? When are you gonna
January 1st.
Have somebody else in the house with you?
to like talk to, yeah.
Yeah, that might be good.
I don't
just
think
yelling
listen,
stab so his neighbor.
I understand what you're saying, Joe, but I also don't think this would be any different. So,
He usually just ignores him when he involuntarily yells stab.
Yeah, stab. Party hard. Check it out at youtube.com/BGH video. Joe.
Yeah.
Speaking of things we would be doing a lot more of if our wives weren't around, why don't you tell us what we're drinking tonight while we review last shift?
Speak for yourself.
I don't know. That doesn't really make sense because
I just have to lock myself in a room and record a podcast for 2 hours to get drunk.
You had me. I went back and listened to last week's episode, and I was almost crying. I missed this part in the episode when you were talking about drinking at Thanksgiving dinner, and like I think I was talking or something, but you said you were talking about how you told your wife like you'd go out to dinner, but you were getting hammered, and then everybody was kind of talking, and underneath it, you go, "You're not taking that away from me."
I'm not. That was the conversation. I will not cook at home, but I will drink like I am. This week we are doing Last Shift, which is about a newbie cop who is sent to guard a police, what is that, precinct, headquarters, something, on the last night before they actually moved to a new location. Hence, this is the last shift. And in honor of that, I picked a beer from the good folks at New Belgium Brewing out in Fort Collins, Colorado.
That's
Yeah, there you
where
go.
that's the hometown of one Mr. Lewis Fowler.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It is. I completely lost my train of thought. So New Belgium Brewing. This is a beer that they actually brewed sort of in honor of that. This is your end of, your shift. Here's a beer. And it is simply called Shift. And it is a delicious pale lager, which sounds confusing to everyone, but it's a style that sometimes isn't the greatest. It's not like a Budweiser or anything along those lines, but it definitely sometimes you get like Michelob is a good example. Like they'll put like adjuncts, which is pretty much just like corn or rice, and this to kind of beef it up. But
Beechwood.
yeah, I mean, it's Beechwood aged. But New Belgium really does a good job with this style. It's got a little bit of hop to it, which, kind of gives it that, what do you call, pale lager. And it is super drinkable. Comes in at only 5% alcohol. 5%. So not super high. But really it's, Dogfish Head puts out this beer called a lawnmower lager, which is meant to be like a summer drinking a beer while you're mowing the lawn. And this is, probably along the same lines, although
Confirmed. That is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Although then you're hammered at 2:00 in the afternoon and you don't know what to do with yourself.
But this is still like a great, holidays, drinking all day type beer. Probably the type of beer that you could give to, a relative who isn't into like good beer or hasn't really ventured out. Excuse me, I'm
like a session beer.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Joe's had a couple shifts so far today.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Joe. So we've got. If you're not seeing the streams, you haven't seen this, but you've been sending me images of your beer, so I can kind of pop them up in the video. It's quite striking artwork.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's
very nicely designed.
New Belgium does good can art and bottle art.
Yeah, New Belgium is awesome. Like they are super great to their employees. Like they actually every year kind of win the one of the best places to work in America. They offer bicycles to their employees, so they don't have to drive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. They're a really great company. Unfortunately, every time I've been out to Colorado, I haven't had a chance to go at the brewery, but I've talked to a few buddies who have, and apparently it's a really great tour. So I definitely want to make it out there sometime.
I was through there like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've heard it's a blast.
The employees actually own the brewery now. They bought it as part of like a, basically the company sold the whole thing to the employees. So
Wow.
No, it's great. Like you always read all this stuff about it. What a great place it is to work. So, and I don't work there. So, yeah, newbelgian.com is their website. And definitely this one gets distributed so you should be able to find it wherever you are if you're in North America. So give it a go. And there you go.
Sexy times, Joe. Sexy times. That's the beer recommendation with Joe. You get that every week here on Bloody Good Horror. Some might call it beer guts. I wouldn't, but you could call it that.
Beer.
Guts. All right, guys. It is time to discuss Last Shift. So let's take a quick break and do just that.
Beer guts.
Colvin, man, we gotta get this sucker done, though. Seriously. Last night, man, I was so drunk I was calling Morocco, man. Trying to get to the Hotel Hilton at Tangiers in Casablanca, man. That's pathetic, man. Is that what you want to do with your life? Suck down peppermint schnapps and try to call Morocco at 2 in the morning? That's senseless. But that's what happens, man.
Hi, this is Tom Savini, and you're listening to bloodygoodhorror.com.
Jennifer, your big break in TV. Up the prime time, bitch. Main feature.
And We're back. You guys had me distracted with fucking chat over here.
I was gonna say things are going on.
Jesus, Schnars, I'm following that hashtag, so I'll get it. We'll get to that.
No,
later.
but that was submitted to Patreon, not to Twitter.
God
so
damn it! All right, let me.
That's why I was
Let
telling
me do
you.
a little Control C over
Inside baseball.
here. Yeah, the insideiest.
Yeah.
All right, John.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Duke.
Yep. Yeah. I love that you're basically exasperated by that fact at this point.
It's exhausting thinking about Duke.
You think you're better than me?
Yeah. It's just, I mean, if you go to Duke, that's like.
Hold on, I'm sipping my tea right now. Hold on.
Sophie, are you drinking a Moscow Mule?
I am.
John,
Yeah.
please bring us the word of the day. What do you got for us tonight, John?
Oh boy. Today's word is rookie. That's ROOKIE.
All right.
You know what's rookie? This word.
Whoa! Bro,
Z.
come on. Come on. A new recruit, especially in the Army or police. Also, a member of an athletic team in his or her first full season in that sport. Yeah, and rookie dates to the late 19th century, and it says here that it is perhaps an alteration of recruit, and it comes from the English, so kind of the language that we're still.
I would have guessed that it was Latin for "What are you new?"
Yeah.
Rookie?
That's a good one. I like that one a lot.
I also
are you
learned.
new?
I learned while doing research on the word rookie that there is a magazine called Rookie. That is an online magazine for teenage girls.
You picked this word 2 minutes before we started recording.
I know. When I say research, I mean I Googled the word.
Googled the word rookie.
So wait, are you sure that there's not a word for that thing where people's faces go back and forth really fast so they're blurry?
I mean,
Do you mean vibrate?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like I think we've taught. I think I might have even used it as a word of the day. I don't know what episode, Joe. Sorry. There's like a disease where people can't perceive faces.
It's called seeing.
Face
Where you're just
blindness.
Yeah, but there's like an official like doctor word for it. I think.
Doctor word? What
Yeah.
How did you even graduate from Duke?
Well, this
Did
has been
you?
great, John. I think we all didn't learn something tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you.
That wasn't even Latin.
Yeah,
F.
no, it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. But here we are.
All right,
Do
John.
you
Are you
actually
sure that's
have a
T?
phone in your room to phone this in, or?
Yeah, John, you clearly just don't care anymore, but let's try the synopsis of Last Shift. Final Shift.
Oh,
What is it?
Final. No,
Last
Shift.
Shift.
you were right the first time.
Nailed it.
Final
Yeah.
girls. No.
So this one doesn't have the in the title. We did resolve that beforehand. Last Shift is the story of a rookie cop and her first shift.
Way to work it in, John.
And so it's her first day on the job, and she shows up at essentially a police station that's being shut down. So it's the last shift that anyone's going to work at that police station before, I don't know, they come in and bulldoze it.
They don't really seem to have their whole shit together here, this whole situation.
Well, yeah. I
You
mean,
kind of get the impression they're just going to walk out and leave it there.
it's yeah. There's like still evidence laying around. I mean, there's a lot of work.
door
that needs
isn't
to get
locked.
done to get this place kind of ready for decommissioning. But yeah,
wandering around.
Urinating on things.
She meets the sergeant, and he's at the police station, and he's kind of just like, "All right, rookie, it's your first day, and you just have to guard this police station for the whole night, and everything will be great."
Now, first he's
And-
doing really weird shit, and then he yells at her and makes her turn around, and it's really creepy. And then he's just like, "Hey, what's going on?"
You know,
forgot
I
about that. That was weird.
completely forgot.
Yeah, because it doesn't
about
go
that part.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It literally
You know
goes
what's
nowhere.
funny? All right, we'll come back to that because like that though actually does increase my enjoyment of the movie. We can come back to
You're
that.
crazy.
John likes it when people boss him around, so that.
I thought that part was erotic. So
Especially the first 20 minutes, I had a raging hard on.
No, it was super weird. I mean, I'll actually explain. Like, she walks in and there's like no one around, and then he walks sort of across the screen really far out in the shot and just starts banging on the wall and like screaming or like yelling or something. I don't know. It was
Wasn't
super.
he angry at a vending machine? I thought that's what was happening.
It was like I thought it was like a fuse box or something.
Yeah, it was like a. It was just like
the demons fuck with your Kit Kats.
Whatever, keep going, John. It is of consequence to nothing, so keep going.
I mean, yeah, all right. So he basically he acts a little
Evil
weird.
spirits took my Twix bar.
But then he just straight up leaves, and he leaves her there, and he leaves, goes about his business, and the rest of the movie is just kind of her in this police station while ghost things start happening.
Her doing a job that literally could have been done with a handwritten note on the door.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not here anymore. Go to this other place.
Be back never. Go down the street.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, how deep? I guess I should get into like a little bit of the ghostiness.
She's the only person there. Ghosty shit happens, and she's getting phone calls from a girl that may or may not be alive.
Yeah, and sort of the backstory to the ghosts is that her father was a cop in the same force. Like, that's kind of teed up right away with the sergeant. And
he died right on duty.
Yeah, he died in the line of fire, and the case that he was working on was like taking place at this police station and involved basically a Manson type of cult. So there was a dude, his name was, I can't find his name, but it's John Michael Payman. It was Payman. Yeah. Rook. They called him Rookie. So Payman is sort of like this Manson character, and he has a bunch of followers, and they committed a shitload of murders. They were kidnapping girls and then sacrificing them or something. It was kind of, it was not 100% clear. And then, yeah, ghosty things happen. There's a hobo that is prominently involved. And I say hobo because he's basically dressed like a homeless person, shows up and just starts peeing on the floor in the police station.
When you're homeless, John, the world is your toilet.
I mean,
anything is possible.
There was a lot of places he could have peed, is all I'm saying. And that was somewhat
on
of
that stack.
All of them valid is my point.
Yes.
Joe, what'd you think of this movie last? So just like this was we're coming to the end of the year. We're trying to figure out kind of what we need to watch, and so we gave patrons a list of stuff, and this got voted for this week. So I think it's a little important kind of going in context wise. What did you think of this movie?
No, I think your intro is very important because I went into this one expecting, I don't know how, but this kind of got on our list of like movies we have to see before the end of the year. And then after I did some digging, it turns out this came out last year.
No. It was released October 2015.
IMDb always, the dates are always way too early. It's always like when it goes into production.
Yeah, exactly. You got to look at the release date. That's what we go by for the...
Well, in any case, I went into this with very high expectations that like, all right, well, maybe I'm going to watch this. It's going to make my top 10 list. And, and what I got was probably on the better side of some really low budget indie horror movie. The acting I think is decent. The effects are all right. I think we'll talk a lot about it, but I feel like a lot of like sort of the scares in this are very like sort of borrowed from other movies. We talked about Silent Hill over the email. This is pretty much the innkeepers in a police precinct with 3 rooms.
Well, hold on. There's way more aggressive scares going on than Innkeepers.
I think this is worse than the Innkeepers.
Well, I think it's the Innkeepers meets Silent Hill.
God.
Like pretty much all you have is this girl or woman walking from room to room, sees some weird stuff, then goes to another room, sees some weird stuff.
There's like aggressive sight scares though, whereas like Innkeepers was just like creak noise.
Yeah, no, there is more, but
which I liked.
Yeah.
I think like I wasn't a big fan of the Innkeepers, but I feel like there was more tension in the Innkeepers. This was pretty much like, all right, she's gonna go in this room, something weird's gonna happen. She's gonna walk all the way in.
I challenge you both to go listen to the Innkeepers episode and remember.
Oh no, I did hate that movie. I'm just saying.
I will full on admit I dislike that movie.
Let's put it this way. I hate the Innkeepers more than I don't really hate this movie at all. But the Innkeepers, whatever.
I had more of a reaction from the Innkeepers.
I can't.
I don't even know where you guys are
Mark,
going with this.
what'd you think of this fucking movie?
Yeah.
It's the end of the year. We're all just phoning it in. Holy shit.
I think that this movie was very loud. That's the thing. I watched it with headphones on, which I don't recommend doing because it's so loud. I thought it was okay. Like in terms of supernatural indie movies that we could watch, you could probably do worse than watching this. One of the things that I kept kind of thinking of, I was trying to think of like, I always think of these movies in terms of what their lasting legacy is going to be. And I would put this somewhere near The Unborn, which I didn't think was that great of a movie, but there's like a couple of visuals, like the glory hole with all the insects and the dog with the upside down head. Like I feel like this movie I would leave with a couple of those kind of like memorable visuals, but not much other than that. It's if you're like tuning in for something by the numbers horror-y, it's pretty good, but if you're looking for anything more than that, it doesn't really offer all that much.
I would call it serviceable.
Sure.
It's a workhorse men-like horror film.
I would agree that this film provides a service. I'm just not sure what it is.
Yeah. John. No, I'm sorry, Sophie. You're last, John.
The service is it makes sure your internet is working.
Sophie, what do you think?
So I characterize this over email as like a movie that would be perfect to watch like if you're not going to do anything during the day on a weekend and maybe you're hungover. And I stand by that. I feel like I come in liking this more than you guys did. I'm probably like closer to John's end of the spectrum. I thought there were a lot of things about it that I really liked. But that's kind of basing it on the scale of horror movies that are on Netflix that you can watch for free. I'm also biased because there have been a lot of really great horror movies this year, and it does not stand up to any of those, but it's not going to come anywhere near my bottom 3 for the year.
No, I don't think mine either. I think that's fair. All right, John, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so I think the caveat around sort of the way that this was selected to watch, for us to watch and review at this time of year is pretty important, and we kind of talked about it, but for me, this is actually it's a fine movie, and if we hadn't had, but if it hadn't been watched with the like context that we went into it, like I think we all probably I don't want to speak for everyone, but like we would have been less hard on this movie.
I'd agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
I also agree.
Like this thing,
I
was scared.
Right.
Like I was watching it, and it was like I almost was kind of like annoyed at how scared I was, if that makes sense. Like not like
John,
scared,
I was also
but
annoyed at how scared you were.
It was just like it was very tense, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this thing is making me. A lot of things
you were doing were annoying me, John.
It was making me anxious. Like I don't know.
But even though literally at some point it's the same thing, like you still didn't see it coming any of those times.
No, well, you still are kind of like, yeah. So,
I can't see that guy's face. What's happening?
It almost sounds like you're making excuses because you put this on the voting list, John.
Hold on. I
don't want to point fingers.
I'm just saying we should have watched The Road Chip.
Not me.
Also, homeless people being indoors is one of John's greatest fears.
Come on.
That's why he's scared. Oh, got him.
Is that his home now? I don't know what to call him.
Get him out.
Wait, somebody.
Does he live there?
Somebody Google squatters' rights.
Oh my God. So I don't know. This movie was weird. Like we'll have to get to. We're gonna have to do a spoiler alert at some point because that's the other piece of this. Is like for me, this movie and sort of what happens in the end. It's not even that it's like a huge twist, although it's a somewhat significant twist, but it completely recontextualizes the whole movie, and that's a pain in the ass.
Sure. Maybe not in a good way.
Sure, contextualizes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This film is fine. I really don't have a problem with this movie. I know Schnarr's got all worked up before the show again, ready to argue with me. But it's fine. I really think like serviceable is the word for me. I think in a vacuum, this is like you go, oh, that's kind of like a all right little indie thing. Like the directing is competent enough, and I think the lead actress is pretty good. I don't know if you mentioned it, John, but she was in The Walking Dead in like season 3 or 4. I don't think she did much. I think she was like in the first season with the governor. I think she was one of his like faceless goons in the back with a gun. Just like Yeah. I don't like. She may have even died like with the prison conflict. let's call it.
happening. The
Spoiler
happening.
alert. I don't know.
So, well, not if she doesn't. It's not a spoiler alert. So, my biggest problem with this movie is I just found it really boring. Like, because what happens is the setup is pretty good. Like the first 15 minutes, I was pretty into it. It's creepy. You got the camera's kind of floating around this thing, and she's exploring it, and she's really freaked out. It's her first night, and I think she does a pretty good job of like showing that hesitancy, and she's trying to be tough and do this cop thing like her dad, but obviously it's like she's not there yet. You know what I mean? Like that's something that only comes with time.
Well,
and I think she
is
really,
good.
as an actress, like gets all of that across. But the problem is that it's kind of like a one-trick pony. Like so what happens is you see somebody run around behind her. She turns around. She slowly follows down the hallway. Something runs in front of her, scares the shit out of her, and then she looks over and something's like blah and like moving its head. But then the scene just kind of ends and nothing really happens. Like she walks away or whatever, and then it literally just like the same cycle. And I swear to God, it happens like 5 times in a row at one point in the movie. So in that sense, it's like kind of a one-trick pony. And I think it's a lot of its budget limitations. I felt like they were, not that they wanted to do more, but that they specifically chose this story and this setting because you could do it cheaply.
Well, it's one actor, one location.
Yeah, and
I mean, there are other actors.
There's other actors, but they try to break it up with this phone call thing where she's getting this. The 911 calls are supposed to be routed to the new station, so she's not supposed to be getting any calls, but she is. And then slowly, like you kind of figured out before she does that, like, okay, this is clearly some not human or like ghost or past apparition thing. And so that kind of evolves into what the story becomes by the end. And I think that was their attempt at some point to escalate things, but I don't know. I was pretty underwhelmed. I just thought it was kind of boring. Although I will say that I liked like the last 5 minutes were done really well.
I feel like you bring up a good point because I feel like there is a certain point in this where you feel like she's really not in danger anymore because like this stuff, she goes from like room to room and this stuff keeps happening, but there's never a point where like these things that she's seeing actually like kind of reach out and like cause her any harm. So
yeah, I mean, I was trying not to dwell on it too much, but there are like the drawer opened by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just get to the spoilers? Because I actually think that's like that's when I say that's all explained away by the twist. Like it.
Well, right, but it's explained why in the last 5 minutes of the movie. So the rest of the movie, you're like feeling the way what Joe is saying.
Yeah. And I agree with that 100%. Like, I got to the point where I was kind of like, what the hell is going on here? Like, are these ghosts going to kill her? Are they just, like, playing with her? Like, what the hell? And then, like, you feel like an idiot later when you're just
They're just going to Scooby-Doo their way through the hallways.
It's just a really, really, like, small in scope story. I think there's a point in the third act where a lot of movies would really escalate things, and this one doesn't. It kind of just keeps the same kind of progression. Yeah. So it just kind of lost me at some point, or I was just kind of like...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's like a lot.
Do you want to talk about the end, John?
Well, no, I did. Like, there's so many. Like now that I'm thinking about, there's like there's this like one scene in the beginning where again, they're trying to like break up some of this plot. Like when the prostitute character is like standing outside the police station. Like, what is the point?
One of our writers, I apologize, I don't remember which, but we were talking about it over Slack, and he was like, "Well, what? You didn't like the magical exposition hooker?"
They're literally
with blood puns.
Yeah, that's what it's on IMDb.
Yeah,
her title.
Exposition hooker.
I like that.
It's really good. I must have missed that today.
Doesn't she come back in the end though? Like, doesn't she end up factoring into?
Did she?
No.
I didn't.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, you have to wait for
Whoa,
part
buddy. Sorry.
The return of
Shut your
exposition hooker.
fucking mouth.
Yeah, there is a lot
Sassy
of
schnars.
There is a lot of that's the weird thing. There's a lot of exposition in this, in the way we kind of complain about that with indie movies a lot, that like they had a pretty ambitious idea, but they introduced it in like really clunky ways, like with the exposition hooker and through the kind of phone calls she was having and stuff. It was it seemed sort of...
I thought the sequence where she's seeing the video of the interrogations was actually like a fine way to do it. So there's like a scene where she's in that room and there's 3 TVs and each one is pulling up a different interrogation with a different one of the cult members. But then I was just kind of like, where the fuck are the TVs coming from? Like, why are like None of it made any. And then the chair started rolling around.
That scene like that.
This movie will make you very afraid of office chairs.
That
They
scene
packed
was
into a lot of scares.
to me. That scene was like really not executed very well. And there is a point in the scene where you're like, nothing's gonna happen to her. This is really dumb. Like,
yeah,
what
like
is happening?
was she like being mentally teleported there? Because they were literally going into the video, and so you're like,
I will say the most impressive part though, like the acting of the cult members is like pretty all over the place. But one of the women who kind of had like the higher pitched voice was crazy good. I remember I was like, I wish.
Your face.
Yes, that actress was so good. But she's in the movie for like 45 seconds probably.
Mm-hmm.
So the walking back and forth between reality or like what's reality and what's not, I feel like is something that a movie like Oculus did really well. And in that you were seeing everything appeared as if it was like happening in the same world. But that scene that John was talking about in particular, she's seeing like a perfectly like edited smash cut version of all these videos, and not in a way that would make us think that like maybe she's seeing them for real. You know what I mean? It's like so over the top and out of reality. It doesn't play with that like is what's happening real or not. Sort of.
She pops in the True Hollywood Story and sits down and enjoys some popcorn.
A fine 48 hours mystery.
Let's talk spoilers.
Spoilers.
I would like to know what Sophie's thoughts are at this point in the show.
So I agree with what Mark said. I feel like I think what redeems this movie for me is there were some visuals that were really, really cool and well done. And I have to agree with John that I have a moment in this movie where I was sitting on my couch that doesn't have a wall behind it. And I don't do well watching horror movies without a wall behind me. And I was like, look at me, I'm by myself in my apartment, like watching a movie, and there's no wall behind me. And then there was a specific scene where I stood up off my couch alone and just went, nope, fuck no, and moved to the other couch that had a wall behind it. So the tension worked for me. But I think a lot of the visuals worked very well. But I brought this up over email. I think a lot of the visuals that worked well for me were pulled from other movies, and it wasn't done in a way that seemed like they knew they were taking something from a classic and acknowledging it. It just felt like they didn't realize they were just stealing ideas from everybody else.
Can you give like examples? I'm just curious.
Yes. So I loved the scene where she's standing down a hallway and this body starts to be drug across the hallway at the other end, and then kind of lifts up like it's on a noose and like turns and starts to move towards her. And that clearly seemed like from Nightmare on Elm Street. And that was very effective. The other thing is they would ruin scenes like that. Like that scene was very tense and working, and then the body starts like twitching and doing weird things, and there's a lot of smash cuts, and that ruined all of the tension of that scene. So it seemed like it would build this potential and then drop it on the ground in a pile and not do anything with it.
Well, and then it kind of resets every time. Like it just slows way down and then just starts again, and you're just like,
well, I feel like. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I mean that's kind of what I was talking about. Like she goes to a room, you see some weird stuff, and then like nothing actually happens to her. So after that happens like 4 or 5 times, you're like, all right, well, I don't really feel the tension anymore. Like when she goes in and sees this stuff.
Right. And to Sophie's point, those moments, those very like silent, hilly, jerky moments are exactly what kind of like brings you out of it. And why I think part of the reason why you don't feel like there's any real threat, because it's very clearly not based in reality. It's not something that's going on. And I think that they get better at it towards the end in like the last 10 or 15 minutes. Which, like, I think could have been like the last 10 or 15 minutes could have been like a great horror short. It's just all of the like stop and go to get there that's a little bit tiresome, I guess.
I want to know, because I had very mixed feelings about this sequence, but the sequence where the cop comes to talk to her.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that?
Should we?
Ghost cop.
Spoiler alert, Ghost Cop.
I mean,
thankfully, I was just putting the spoiler graphic up in the video.
But it's not a spoiler. Like it's spoiled in that same scene. Like as soon as he starts talking.
And it happens pretty early on. It's not.
Yeah,
it's in the
spoiled
first half
in that
of the
scene?
movie.
Yeah, he turns around.
He turns around. You see the whole...
Well, and I think they definitely show their hand way too early. Like that is a twist, or not a twist, but something you reserve for later on. I think.
Well, right, because there's a phone call later though where they're like, "He's been dead for a year."
Well, the girl.
That was the woman that was calling her, right?
Spoiler alert. No, I thought it was something about the officer. They're like, yeah, the officer.
No, it was the woman who was calling.
It was the woman who keeps calling.
I don't think I knew anything that was happening in
well,
this movie.
the woman. I mean, so this was the thing, and this is
I'm not
I
sure.
think Mark mentioned it, like, and you know, now that he said it, I'll repeat it, and maybe I should just pretend I was saying it, but like, there's just way too much plot going on, like, the
all
'cause
the
that's
all of it being delivered by exposition.
yeah, and well, it's the 1 year anniversary of the Payman sort of like cult breaking up, and that's why she's getting the calls, and the cops are like, well, she's been dead for a year, and then the like woman shows up and she's like, it's the anniversary, you know, and like does that whole thing. Like, I don't
How
know.
are we going to celebrate the anniversary of you shaving your mustache off? That's my question. Like,
I don't know,
it's
man.
gonna be pretty somber, I think.
I think you might be celebrating it too much by yourself with the pictures you keep on your laptop or whatever. But
with some Jergens
But
lotion.
it felt like they try so hard to lay out all of that plot, but I, for some reason, assumed that all of this cult activity happened sort of a long time ago. And so I kept being very surprised by or confused by the references they made, because it seemed like the timelines weren't adding up. And it took a really long time for them to say that that only happened a year ago.
Well, because it's so Manson-y, I think your brain just immediately goes to the 60s.
Right.
And then it's like they kind of are dressed a little like flower children-y too.
Right.
Well,
and then when the cop shows up and he's hitting on her, but he's like, I was with your dad that night. I was like, so he should be older, right? Why does it not make sense that he's
And she doesn't even think anything of it.
Right. So it seems like
Were you a baby?
At least for me, they missed a step. That kept pulling me out of it. I have several notes where I was like, wait, this person does not look old enough to have been alive when this was happening.
Were you a child cop?
Right.
I didn't know they did that.
Your father had me on a baby Bjorn the night he was killed here.
I actually stopped a bullet for them that night. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So I think, I mean, I agree that the sort of style and tension of it, especially towards the end, was pretty decent. But I just think it gets bogged down by all of this like weird plot baggage that you don't really need. Like I don't see what it adds other than
well, because you have a movie with
changing my
basically
vote.
one person in it, and so that's their so what they were trying to do was like paint this rich tapestry using what they had at their disposal, which were phone calls, ghost characters, and exposition hookers.
So let's talk about the actual spoiler here, because Sophie actually like teed it up kind of nicely with the kind of ghost cop.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, big spoiler alert here. So it's revealed in the like final sequence that because the final scene is there's other cult members breaking into the police station, sort of like coming after her. And it's like kind of hinted that maybe they're coming after evidence that's in the evidence room or something like that. Or there's like a demon that's like underground. Like there's all kinds of weird shit that they're kind of hinting at. And then she gets shot. And as she kind of like rolls over from being shot, she's being shot by the sergeant. And then it like smash cut, twist. She has been shooting at these cleanup crews that it had been set up way earlier in the film that they were coming to clean up the police station, and I think specifically like the evidence room. They were like biohazard cleanup guys. So it shows them and they're like laying on the ground in biohazard outfits, and she's just killed both of them.
Which is like a huge leap to like, I don't know. There's not a lot of, I get that it's ghosts, so it's not like it's a logical thing, but there's not a lot of internal logic in the film as far as what she's seeing and how that translates to real life.
Well, this is the problem, is like the whole movie, you're basically being told that the place is haunted and that she's dealing with a haunting situation. And then it just turns out that she's crazy, or that.
Well, I took it as like a haunting made her crazy. Like the ghost played psychological trickeries with her mind because they wanted her.
I mean, isn't it just as plausible that she was like completely insane the whole time?
Oh, that's the beauty of this film, John. You'll never know.
I don't know.
Who knows?
I personally didn't read it that way.
I read it the John way, but I like it better the Eric way.
Yeah, I mean, the Eric way is
everything's better
more
the Eric
charitable
way.
reading.
If you're trying to pull the like, you did a thing, but you saw a different thing, like you have to kind of earn that. It didn't. To me, it didn't really have the impact.
Here's a twist. What if her mom was dead too? Oh shit.
I feel like that would have actually made the story hold together a lot better.
I mean, is anyone So really, the only person you know for a fact is real that she interacts with in the entire movie is the sergeant, because he comes back and puts a cap in her ass at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And
I
even
mean,
then,
if the mom wasn't real, that would just be super...
maybe she shot herself.
Right, like her mom is just a ghost that like nags her. Is that
What if she never
Yeah,
left home?
like her mom's just a naggy ghost. It's possible.
Oh my god.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no logic. The film doesn't really set up any logic to give you the tools to figure that out. Like, you could question all of it, I think.
Well, the other thing is, if her dad really was killed in this massacre, and he seems to be a pretty well-known cop, why would anyone have thought, you're a rookie, it would be a really good idea to leave you alone on this first night on the
In this
internet
horrifically haunted place.
by a Charles Manson cult.
Well, and
Did your
when
dad
she's
get killed
calling-
here? So anyway, we're gonna leave you here for the night. Have fun.
That was the thing that was driving me the most crazy, and we haven't even, but like when she calls the other police station and she's like, "Hey, I just fucking like put a hobo in a cell." Like, don't you think they would be like, "All right, we'll probably send someone else to help"?
As he's walking out, he's like, "Oh yeah, one last thing. There's a homeless guy using this building as his toilet. Please don't stand up on a giant pile of boxes and try to fight him with a nightstick, okay? That's
Also,
the worst thing you could do."
Make sure you do it on a makeshift bookcase.
Yeah, like, what the...
God.
She also like turns from, there's the moment where she's interrogating this woman who we were kind of back and forth on whether she was real or not. I think we landed on like the fact that she wasn't real, but she has this moment like, maybe that gun's not real. Maybe that gun's in my holster this whole time. So she's like, there's a point where she is sort of in control of what's going on. And then like 10 minutes later, accepts a totally earnest ghost phone call from her dad. He's like, "Dad, tell me what to do." And it's just, it's so silly. Like it's just like,
I hate ghost
I
phone
forgot
calls.
about the ghost phone call.
We've all seen Ghost Dad, Mark. It's a great.
Well, if the whole movie, if she was crazy the whole time, does that mean that the whole conspiracy theory about the police officers and the cult members actually being killed at the police station is real or not real?
I think it was real.
Yeah, I think real.
I don't think she was crazy. I really don't think she was crazy the whole time. I think she's just an impressionable kid, first night on the job, gets put in a really messed up situation by the most incompetent police department on earth. And I think that this place is like this really charged, haunted place, and it basically drives her insane by the end of the night. That's
okay. I like that.
I think that makes more sense, right?
Yeah, I do too.
That's where I went. She also had great hair.
All right, let's go.
She
Let's
did
go
have
right
great
back
hair.
to the beginning, really
great
quick.
hair bun
You're
type thing going
Yeah,
on.
but then it fell out and she never fixed it.
Well,
that's okay.
I think it
Why
looked.
not? You
don't
can't
bother
pretend
me.
you're in control when your hair looks like
I
that.
think it looked
Possible.
fun and flirty at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. And Joe and I are the expert at women's hair in this conversation, so
Clearly.
Can we go back to the beginning really quick and just ask them?
I wish
what
we
was
wouldn't,
the-
John.
What was the matter with the sergeant when she showed up?
I think that he was starting to go batshit crazy too, because that's what happens when you're in that place by yourself. That's why he was like, "Fuck it, let's put the rookie here."
He's the grizzled old sergeant. Wouldn't he have been there? And why would they not give him someone else to be
Yeah,
there
but he
with?
would have been there with other people that I think would have helped ground him.
Right, when
And
you're there
David,
alone,
that
it takes
doesn't happen when you're not alone.
Yeah.
control of you, gives you the vapors.
Okay, you guys clearly got this all figured out.
Look, John, you're the one who made us watch this, so
That's a good point. That's a good.
I will
point.
take
Blame the patron.
responsibility for this because Netflix was yelling at me to watch it, and
I liked
I
that.
kept seeing it pop up, but we did, like, our patrons voted on it, so I really think we should blame them.
I really wish someone was here to take a picture of the look on my face when I loaded this movie up on Netflix and saw that it had 2 stars and went,
Yep.
is that
I
right?
think
And
that
so
the
I searched it
patrons who
again.
voted
Then I
for
would
this have to respond as to why they wanted us.
Then
to
I
watch
got a G chat. Was like, Casey, is this the right movie? It's whatever.
Last
Like,
shift, or the last shift or final girl.
I
love
think
that
this-
we like did digging, and then it all boiled down to Mark kept seeing the picture on Netflix. So
right. I thought we were taking this seriously this year, Mark.
Other people voted on it. I brought it
fucking
up,
crazy.
and other people voted on it, and a majority of other people.
I don't think we've ever enjoyed a movie that we've let other people vote on. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Oh, not true.
Name one.
We had a
Listen, we
couple
just need
earlier
more
this year.
patrons so we get a better sample.
The old man werewolf movie was a patron select, I think. What was that movie
I thought
called?
that was okay. I was
Late
kind of
phases.
Yeah, Late Phases. I'm pretty sure that was. I
So
like
we
that
had
movie.
an all right pick.
Now, is that the only? I mean, we've done a bunch. I thought at this point that they voted
Yeah.
on.
There's been like 3 or 4, something like that.
If you want to vote for movies that we watch, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
If you want us to talk shit about your choices.
Did they pick spring? Did they ask you guys to do spring?
Oh yeah, that was also.
Yeah, okay.
I like
Spring was
spring.
good.
All right.
Spring was really good.
All right, I take it all back.
All right, yeah, I
You're
mean,
not betting 100 patrons,
all
but
right,
you're...
I think it's time to wrap her up here. John, unless there's any other movies you want to spoil.
Wait, what else did I spoil? I don't even remember.
We got actually a really funny tweet about that later. Joe, what would you recommend this?
Nah, I wouldn't bother.
Mark?
Yeah.
That's all, folks. John?
I'm gonna go no as well.
Sophie?
If you're looking for a horror movie to watch and you don't want to spend money, I would watch it.
Would you recommend it specifically on a couch with like a wall behind you?
I mean, for that one scene, definitely.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. That's good advice. I'm also...
Don't ever say anything like that in front of Eric, because now that's going to be
That's your thing now. Yeah.
the rest of the
Oh,
time.
God. That's my thing in my family. My whole family makes fun of me for that.
Listen, I hate to gang up on poor Sophie here, but I'm also going to say no. It's not horrible. It's really not the worst movie ever. I know we kind of picked apart its logical inconsistencies, but it just is like, by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to literally remember fucking nothing from this movie except blurry faces. That's all I'm ever going to remember from this movie.
Even though that only happened in one scene.
And maybe the urinating guy, but that's how just forgettable it was for me. So
that's fine. I'll stand alone on this.
Mark, when you say tweets about this movie,
What?
you wrote tweets.
What are you talking about, Mark?
I'm asking
Dude,
you.
this is inside baseball again.
I understand, but you have to put more words in the chat so I know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, thank you, Joe.
I think he's asking me to tee it up here. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
cue
see,
one
John
up
and
for
I are
you.
on the same wavelength. Eric,
Alright.
goes
I thought
out.
you were telling me we had tweets about this movie on Twitter.
No, Eric, go ahead and grab the one I just sent though. You'll appreciate it.
I didn't understand either. We do tweets every week.
Mexican Tony says, "Dear BGH, we only had like 4 choices. Ask BGH, not really a question." That's like 4 choices is more than enough.
No, well, okay. To be fair, so
What were
we
the other
gave them
3?
Because
gave
we
them 4
listen, it's our
choices.
fault because we specifically if we're giving you 4 movies, we should make sure that they're all fucking awesome.
Well, and I think we like.
But
thought
how do we
they
know
were
they're
those.
fucking awesome if we don't?
I
watch
don't
them?
know.
What
What were the other 3?
choices?
So it was
The Hunger
Hellions.
Games 1, The Hunger Games 2.
Hellions,
Hellions.
when animals dream.
Yeah, When Animals Dream and The Final Girls, and When Animals Dream's lost, and it broke my heart a little bit.
I don't know anything about that movie, but I friggin' love that title. So
Yeah,
I watched Hellions because I thought that's what we were watching.
you
this
watched
week.
it?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was better
Don't
than
tell
this.
us.
Better
So-
than this. Says Joe. Better than this other movie.
We have to review it next week or 2 weeks from
No,
now.
we're watching Krampus.
Yeah, but we have to review it 2 weeks from now. Come on,
Krampus.
spoiler.
All right,
Roll
guys.
Tide.
Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
This audience is watching what the film critic for After Dark magazine has called the most terrifying movie I have ever seen.
Leave me alone!
Jill, we traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Just get out of that house.
Every babysitter's nightmare becomes real when a stranger calls.
Hello, creeps.
It's John Kassir,
The voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I'm a friend of bloodygoodhorror.com.
Send your emails to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or hit us up on Twitter at BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. And don't forget to pick up back episodes of the show at podcast.bloodygoodhorror.com.
And we are back.
Yeah.
Back in the house. bloodygoodhorror.com. Lighting it up tonight, folks.
Yos.
On fire! info@bloodygoodhorror.com is email address. First up, this was submitted to Patreon. This is a BGH Classics quote from Schnars, name spelled correctly. Quote, "I'm not even sure that house was at the end of the stream." I totally, as soon as I read that, I remembered that, and he's right. That fucking house was not at the end of the street. What the hell?
It was right in the middle.
Yeah.
And
It's
if you
kind of in the
want
middle
to,
of the street.
if you want to hear us gleefully shit on a movie, I definitely recommend that House at the End of the Street episode.
Poor J-Law.
Oh man, we fucking destroyed that movie. It's so fun.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
I didn't grab who sent this, but somebody sent us a message that said, "Hey guys, I snapped a pic of Schnars in a boutique in New York without him knowing." And it's a picture of Andy Samberg with a V-neck that goes all the way down to his belly button. Also says, when will you guys get around to seeing Tales of Halloween? Solid flick with some great segments.
I feel like we're a little bit late to that one.
I feel like I heard a bunch of terrible things about that movie.
I've heard stuff all over the map on it. So.
We've got a review of Tales of Christmas going up on the site, which apparently was decent enough.
Oh, here, I'm going to put this picture of Schnars' V-neck here up in the video.
John.
It's pretty good. It's only slightly less deep than the one he actually had on in the show. Next up, Taylor. Something occurred to me while listening to the Final Girls review. The co-writer Joshua John Miller, in addition to being the former child actor from Near Dark and River's Edge, is also the son of a horror icon. His father was Jason Miller from The Exorcist. I wonder if he was working out some personal issues through the mother and daughter characters in the Final Girls, ? I don't know who that person is, so...
Interesting.
I mean, that's good research, though, by email.
It seems like a horror comedy would be a weird way to work out your issues.
Right.
But, whatever. I'm not saying she's wrong.
info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address. We got some more BGH Classics tweets this week, and not just from that ballet thing in Chicago or whatever the hell that is. What is it? It's a music festival?
It's a summer festival. It's great. I saw Prairie Home Companion there this past summer.
First up,
very good feat.
I'm fucking learned, John.
This one just came in. I can't decide whether to read this guy's offensive display name or offensive handle, but I'm going to go with @terribleasshole, which is his handle. I didn't hate this movie. I actually still enjoyed it a lot. Eric BGH on House of the Devil. Womp womp. Yeah, I told you, though, we've talked about this. But this is what happens. You do this many shows, this many movies, and the farther you get out from a review, the more it just becomes this abstract thing in your head, and you latch on to whatever the most extreme feeling you had on it was, and for me anyway, and then it just it festers over the years.
That was a good save, because you said us generally, and I'm pretty sure you're the only person.
No, but come on, we've done fucking 350 movies for the show. You can't tell me you remember really how you felt about all those movies. You just remember your base
since
feelings.
we have done that movie, you saying how much you hated it.
Yeah.
And I remember it being one of the shows I was on and you actually being okay with it. And for however many episodes it's been, I've been like, what the fuck
is it on Netflix? I should go watch that again. I should have a Ty West marathon and just reevaluate my feelings on him.
I'm on the record really liking that movie and still feeling very positive about it.
I feel like that was one of the first shows I was on that I really hated the movie that all you guys liked. It's fucking stupid. That movie was garbage.
I love that tall guy. What's the tall guy's name? He's been in lots of stuff recently.
Just because there's a nice guy in it doesn't make it a good movie.
Tom Noonan. He's the man.
Just because he sells Subway sandwiches doesn't make him a nice guy, John.
That's right.
Yeah.
That guy's a child molester, John.
Next up, @Robale, quote, "If there were cat heroin, this cat would be doing it." @Schnars, cat sitting in episode 59. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. That's a throwback.
Do you recall this, John?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was a cat. We were actually living in another apartment for a little while, and it was like a sublet situation, and the woman had a cat that we were watching.
I remember this too, actually.
And the cat was crazy.
Next up, Mexican Tony. The irony of me wanting to punch Eric BGH in the face for talking down about BGH Classics 1 to 19 is he's the reason why I like them so much.
Oh.
I went and listened to like a 200 and almost couldn't take it, so I can't. There's no way I can't do
200?
200?
Yeah, honestly, I was really shocked. It was like early 200s, and like it wasn't bad, but it was like my problem is
you are the fucking worst salesperson.
No, it's from the point of view is,
and it was garbage.
From the point of view of like, I listen to the show twice every week after we put it out because I'm trying to figure out how to make it better, and so I don't realize how over time like the small little tweaks and just the way that we continue to gel as a show, I feel like. And so even going back 100 episodes, it's not that it's bad. It just feels different and weird to me. And you also, like, I don't remember any of those things I said. We said so many things.
You might want to get that checked out, man.
Get what checked out?
Get your brain.
My brain is just fine, sir.
I think these like classic BGH things are really funny because it's like literally a sentence you said 4 years
Right,
ago.
Totally out of context. That's my point.
That?
Yeah. Mexican Tony, all right, hear about this, Mark. You remember saying this? Quote, the titty boat, unquote.
Yeah,
Mark BGH,
exactly.
episode 130. You want to tell me all about the context of that?
You know what's funny? I was sitting there trying to remember it. I want to say it was Triangle, if only because that's the only movie I could think of with a boat. Or Donkey Punch. It could have been.
Donkey Punch definitely could have had a titty boat reference, yeah.
I mean, we could have just looked up the movie that we talked about.
There's so many, like...
It's hilarious.
Oh
Yama86, episode 44. Eric's fiance agrees to buy him a big screen TV if they get engaged. Now he hates people with big screen TVs. I would like to say for the record, that never happened. Like, that conversation may have happened, but I never got a TV.
Oh, man.
And the world cries.
Yeah. I still, to this day, have never paid for a high-def television. We have one that was given to us by somebody else that was getting rid of their old one.
Were you like, fuck you, we don't accept this gift?
No, I was like, sweet, now I don't have to buy one of these stupid fucking things.
Too many pixels, I don't want people to...
Yeah.
Why is an HD TV stupid?
Because they're too expensive. Like
they are literally not.
By the beginning of the HD TV thing, you could walk into a Best Buy and get like a 40-inch tube TV for like $20. That's I need it to be that cheap.
Almost. The wife and I bought a new TV for our bedroom. Like fucking bigger than the one we have in our living room for like $300.
Yeah. That's too much.
Eric is too
that is
good
not too much.
$300 is too much for a goddamn TV, Joe. That's insane.
Well, I'm sorry. You are incorrect.
It's crazy.
You're off your rocker.
Listen, Joe, if you got extra TV money hanging around, you can send it my way anytime, buddy.
Extra TV money.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if I break open my piggy bank, we can get a TV with it now.
Yeah,
so
well, let's do it. I'm good.
Let's start the Patreon.
The TV in my bedroom is another flat, like a 18, 19-inch flat screen somebody gave me that literally, like, the stand is broken, so it's like this, so I have to prop it back up like this so you can
You
actually
have a
see
job,
the
right? Like, things are going okay.
I love it's like, he's so put upon.
No, I could totally afford a TV. It's a fucking principle thing, Joe.
I love that you're complaining about the price of TVs, and in the background of the stream, we can see, like, your horror knickknacks that you probably slam for fucking money.
Dude, how about the fact that he works in television? It's his literal career that he chose.
Oh God!
You really misnegotiated that signing bonus. You should have requested a TV.
Any chance you guys could throw a TV in?
Like just a television.
They're literally like, yeah,
like
we
you
got
don't have a
50 of
TV.
them we were about to throw in the garbage. You can have one of these garbage TVs.
Oh man!
Oh.
All right, garbage TVs.
You're not too good for a garbage TV, are you, Eric?
I can't be the only one that thinks TVs are too goddamn expensive.
No,
I'm
they
sorry.
are literally. I'm with Joe. They are not expensive.
No.
The good old days, man. CRTs were so cheap by the end.
They're so cheap now.
Yeah, you can get them for like $2 at the Salvation Army.
You could have gone to Target on Black Friday and gotten one for probably just walking in the store. Like,
the irony of it is every time I go into Salvation Army, I stare at like giant tube TVs and I'm trying to just think of a reason why I might need one because they're so fucking cheap. I have a disease.
Your life, man.
Yeah. Nice. Woo, next up, Alan Murch says, Paranorman episode. Schnars berates someone for a mild spoiler, then drunkenly spoils the entire ending minutes later.
I don't remember that at all.
Also, dude, your hair is sticking straight up in the air now. You look like a crazy person.
To make that story believable.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, that totally sounds like what. The thing is,
I totally remember
Schnars
that.
doesn't lose control that often, but when he does, he just goes off the handle. Like, there's a couple of shows where he just was gone.
John's too hot to handle, too cold to hold, man.
I'm getting super warm in my room right now. It's like all the
Call
lights
Jay
on.
Schnaps and he's in control.
take off that shirt, buddy.
Next, oh boy. Next up, Reality Boy. Eric snuck in a caw. I may have slightly peed on myself. BGH Classics. Oh, episode 344. That could be about
That's not even a
anything,
classic. I think that's still in the feed.
Well,
Yeah, that's
Eric would not recommend that.
he
you
had
listen
listen.
to
He
any
had
episode.
he hashtagged it BGH Classic. So,
That's fair.
and that was, unless we got any new ones, that was it. Hashtag BGH Classics on Twitter at BG Horror. Hit us up with those favorite memories. If you want to know where you can get that stuff, you can get old episodes podcast.bloodygoodhorror.com or become a patron at one of the highest levels. You get access to a server, a G drive, if you will, Schnars, that has all of our old episodes on it. And they're just, it's like kind of Netflix, actually. Like, if you have access to it, you can just leave them there and you can listen to them at your leisure.
you get a one-way ticket to John's G Spot.
Load
You can just go right in there anytime you
Load
want.
them up on your phone. It's pretty great, actually, the way it works.
Lord. Spoiler alert, there is another classic episode callback that is in the regular tweets because it wasn't properly hashtagged. I'll let you figure it out. It's good.
Shots fired, John. I like it.
Let's see. I need the first.
It's from a dear friend, so we.
Tell me when you're ready, Eric. I am now ready for tweets
I think you should stand by.
with a capital T and a Z on the end.
Should we mute?
I think we should talk more about television prices and the inflation that's going on.
Well, that
That's
fucking
the only
inflation if
TV
the price is going down.
I was
deflation, bro.
I was drinking
Deflation.
something and I literally almost spit it out so that I could yell at Eric for being wrong about that. Oh God. Literally the price
PC
It's
is
a
ready
plague.
to capture the GIF when you dribble on yourself like I dribbled on myself.
All right, is the first one from Mikey Jesus.
Sure is.
All right, we got it.
First one, Mikey Jesus with a G. What's better, Assault on Precinct 13 or Last Shift? Same movie, different genre. I really want to know Sophie's choice.
Sophie.
Sophie.
Guys, I'm gonna ruin it. I haven't seen Assault on Precinct 13.
It's not that great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but I'd see it's better
Hold on.
than this.
I'm gonna assume
music.
it's better.
It's worth it for the music alone.
Yeah, it's not awful. It's just like, it's just not amazing.
No.
I mean, it's the like if you're just talking about the solidity of the premise, Assault on Precinct 13 is way better.
Eric, would you say it is also fine?
It's
if you
Assault on Precinct 13 is fine.
If you like John Carpenter, you owe it to yourself to watch Assault.
Yeah, I agree with it.
It's on the list. Grad school is making the list longer.
I certainly agree with it in a horror historical perspective.
It's not even really a horror movie. Is kind of the weird thing about that movie. But
No, but it's like being of Carpenter, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on legacy alone, this movie is not gonna, and no one will remember this movie. So, Assault on Precinct 13 is Sophie's choice.
I also like kind of
nice. Sophie's choice. That's her bumper.
That could be our new segment.
I kind of reject the comparison though, because the whole point of Precinct 13 is that the cop and the criminal have to come together to kind of protect each other or fight together. And this movie's just like her being attacked by ghosts in a police station. You know?
I
John, you
reject.
missed it. She had to team up with the ghosts, and
That's true.
Schnars,
You're
I
right.
reject your rejection. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's fine.
Mark,
What was that movie with Joe Piscopo? Dead Heat?
Dead Heat, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a better
Classic.
comparison.
Yeah.
Like that.
I've never seen that one.
It's pretty good. The poster art alone is one of the most 80s-ist things that's ever happened.
If you're a Joe Piscopo completist, would you recommend it?
A Piscopletist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say Dead Heat is better than this
Oh
movie.
wow.
Mark,
Absolutely.
zombie thing?
Mark, I
Like,
apologize if I'm stealing your
But-
thunder here, but can we talk about this? Didn't Mikey Jesus send us something else kind of great this week?
Oh, I don't know. You can talk about it because I don't know what you're talking about.
The unboxing video?
Oh man,
Oh.
so
I couldn't remember if we talked about it on the previous
we
episode.
did not talk about it. If you
If
are
you have a
pa-
link, I could put it up in the video here, but I don't.
if you are a patron at a certain level, you recently received. I think all of them have been sent out now, John. Right?
Yeah, there's a couple more. I mean, there's another round of T-shirts that'll go out soon. But yeah, a lot of
But-
people have received.
Yeah.
Most of the original patrons, let's say, received their T-shirts and various sticker business and all sorts of things. And Mikey Jesus sent us a video this week that we retweeted from our BG Horror Twitter account. That is fucking ridiculous. He did an unboxing video.
I
for
would
this
call it
shirt.
like an unhinged boxing video.
Yeah.
It was the most belligerent unboxing, or in this case, unbagging I've ever seen. It involved sharp weapons and
I
yelling
was worried someone was going to be injured at several
and
points.
I
grumbling.
need to watch this.
My favorite
Oh.
part was he opens it with a giant knife and then he opens it up and he goes, "It has holes."
Yeah,
I don't think I'm being presumptuous when I say it is a postmodern masterpiece. I think
Yeah,
it is
sure,
fantastic. I whenever I'm sent a YouTube link in my email on like a regular chain, I just assume it's Joe sending some like random rap video or strange thing I've never seen. But this really took me by surprise, and I think it's worth watching.
It was different.
Very different.
Check it out.
Nice. Yeah, I want to give him props for that.
Yeah, for sure. All of the props. Next one is from NMS You Rich. So what's the deal with the sergeant? Was he affected by the ghost too, or was he just a prick?
I think he was just a prick.
I think he was affected by the ghosts. I think he was starting to lose it, and he was like, "Screw it, let's get the rookie in here."
We gotta get
this wall is making me angry.
Ghosts off these motherfucking phones.
Punch it.
What's the deal with this lieutenant?
All right, next one. Alan Murch. If you were working the night shift at a department store, who would you want working with you, and what mischief would you get up to?
I would like a little bear named Corduroy, and we would look for buttons.
I was gonna say something cool like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Eric, I'm surprised you didn't say John, so you could trap him in the bathroom when no one else is around.
John, we could just like have flashlights and share stories about ourselves.
I know there's a whole store, but we have to stay in this one room.
Tell me more about summer camp, Schnars.
Corduroy, guys. Just check it out.
I like that Schnars fixes his hair, but he still has one thing just sticking straight out from his head.
I want to twirl.
Didn't we go through this last week where you just look like a fucking nutbag?
I'm starting to sweat. It is warm in my apartment right now.
You know you're wearing a sweater, right?
I know. I unzipped
Take it
my
off,
sweat.
big guy. Come on.
You know.
Sun's out, guns out.
John, if you had a V-neck on, you'd get a little more air in there.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even want to mention it, but I had a V-neck on earlier as an undershirt, and I took it off because I didn't hear about it.
Just go full tank top next week, buddy.
Oh boy, I don't know if the internet could handle that, but I'm for it.
Just go full Borat One Piece next week, you know?
Ooh.
It's a banana sling.
Oh, God.
Just get right to it. All right, next one.
Next tweet.
I hope whoever sent in that tweet was satisfied with the non-answer that we just gave. This one is from Blut Virgesen. How do you suppose she got the homeless man off those high rafters while his hands were cuffed behind his back?
We didn't even get into
that whole scene is just ridiculous.
I can't talk about that.
Yeah.
They should just call this movie "How to Trap a Homeless Man." Honestly.
Yeah.
I would call it
but then
how not to trap a homeless man.
If you called it that, it'd be false advertising because you don't actually find out.
It got real awkward. Did anyone else notice that when she tased him, the taser light didn't stop blinking? That's not how tasers work.
No.
I have no idea how tasers
I've never used tasers.
Really? Okay, guys, this is going to be my new thing. I don't want to be the couch person. I've been tased before.
What?
When you tase, so when it goes dark in that room and you can see the taser blinking.
No. I don't want to hear about how it's supposed to look. I want to hear about how
were
you got tased.
Wait. Were you urinating in a police station?
I was voluntarily tased by my roommate in college.
Oh my God.
All right.
Were they like training to be like a taser salesman? Like what?
He bought him a taser for his birthday once.
Is that a thing? A taser salesman?
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Let me show you my finest tasers.
Yeah, the old door-to-door taser salesman.
The point is, when it's pitch black in that room and she makes contact with him, you should not be able to see the light from the electricity going between the 2 points because it should be in his body.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, in all fairness,
electricity is in you
people
now.
that would pick up on that flaw are probably in prison, Sophie. So,
no, I'll be honest. I had this weird moment where it just made me think about like police shootings, and then I got real weird in my head, and I was like, "Oh, I'm watching a movie."
You weren't thinking, I wonder if Sophie's been tased before?
So now you all know the answer. This is why you keep me around.
Yeah. For the record, I don't think any of us other than Sophie have been tased, as far as I know.
No.
I have had a beer bottle broken over my head. But
the only thing I know about tasing I learned from that scene in The Hangover.
Oh, yeah.
Where the kid tases Zach Galifianakis
in the
nuts.
face.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more, or actually we got a bunch more to hammer through. This one's from Robale. Box office predictions for Krampus. It's PG-13.
I think Krampus tanks like the Titanic.
Yeah.
Because I just, as good as I think it looks, I think that the general public is fucking totally baffled by this movie.
I haven't seen it.
That's my theory.
I don't think I agree with that.
They have not. They haven't been showing it to critics. That's what's making me worried.
Sophie, you got to put yourself in the shoes of like somebody with a 5th grade education, aka John Q. Public.
I mean, I have a lot of friends
So
who
much
are
disdain.
normies to the nth degree who hate horror movies who have concrete plans to go see Krampus this weekend.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
but
should
your
listen.
college
We should.
kids who are up till like 8:30 on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole
We
different
should
vibe.
wager.
That's a lot of college kids at this point. in my
Listen,
life.
whichever
Not
one of us is right gets to tase the other one. How's that? Next Horror Hound weekend, we'll make it happen.
Oh Jesus!
Wait,
Actually,
can we just stop
we
real
were
quick,
at a
too?
horror hound where there was a taser salesman. There was a guy selling tasers.
Boom.
Let me show
hold
you the
on.
Hair Razor 5000 here.
Wasn't this rated R at one point?
Yeah,
Or
I
was
didn't
this
realize
just-
it was PG-13.
Yeah, that actually like really took me by surprise.
It's a bummer.
I honestly, I don't know.
I don't know that it
my
needs
own
it.
sort of like personal hype that is inevitably going to end in disappointment aside. I feel like I have been seeing a lot of promotion for this.
I
feel
have
like-
it too, yeah.
I have.
And frankly,
And-
anything with Keckner in it, I'm gonna love it regardless.
You know,
of how
and
bad it
I
is.
do wonder.
I think carries weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see what like the Adam Scott, David Keck, like, are they pulling in comedy fans that think this might just be kind of a ridiculous, but it's like sold like a true blue horror movie. Like they're not really playing up the
Listen,
comedy. at
I
all.
love the movie Out Cold mostly because of David Keckner, and he's only in like a quarter of it.
So are we gonna do predictions, or are we just gonna say we don't
Let's
know?
do it. Put some money on it, Schnars.
Do you want? Can I guess first?
I know you have no concept of real money, but try guessing.
Should
21
somebody
million.
keep
Boom.
track of this?
Count it.
All right, 21 million. I'm gonna say
Is anyone
Who's
writing
keeping
this
track
down?
of this?
you, Mark. Clearly.
What the fuck are you?
I'll write it
serious?
down. I'm writing it down.
All right.
John says, what'd you say, John?
21 million.
I'm gonna say 14.
All right. I'll say 18.
I feel like it's a dick move, but I was gonna go with 23.
Ah, Joe.
Well,
You dick.
I'm gonna go with 21 and $1.
Wow.
Price is right rules, bitches.
You sons of bitches. All right.
We haven't done one
yeah.
of these in a while because we usually forget the next week.
Yeah.
I got it
Yeah,
down.
and
Ryan.
we were doing that fantasy box office thing, but I'm pretty sure we all dropped off of that. So
I was like into it until I started consistently losing every week, and then I don't like losing. so
There
I
was
gave
like
up.
3 of us who finished the season, and I dominated. Just FYI. So
that's great, John. You were the only one playing. Good
I
for
had
you.
one week where I was at a wedding somewhere like out of town, and I couldn't get to it, and missing that 1 week F's you for the whole season.
yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
really
same way my Tamagotchi died.
All right, let's plow through these. Let's go.
your
Let's go.
Tamagotchi drowned in a sea of its own shit because you cleaned up after it.
It was prom night. I slept in.
That's prom night. Prom night 1996. No. When was that? 2000?
Yeah, that's probably pretty close actually.
No, mine was 2000, so yours would have been 96. Yeah.
Yeah, 97. Yeah, whatever.
This is the way we do our math. All right, next one is from the Titty Bets. I was listening way back to episode 100, and it sounds a little like Mark's voice was cracking. Did he have a puberty?
The thing about Mark is he's had multiple puberties. It kind of it ebbs and flows as he gets
Thanks.
older.
His balls
This
just keep
lumberjack
dropping.
you see today was a
Yeah.
result of multiple transformations. Also, if it was around episode 100, that was probably around the time where I was yelling in a band, so my voice was always kind of.
As long as we're putting like pictures up in the stream every week, we should really get some good like awkward Mark pictures from like ages 11 to 14.
Oh, that's a good idea. Do we really want to start that arms race, Eric? Because I'm pretty sure I could find some pictures.
I was gonna say, don't even start you two. It's just not worth it. No one wins except all of us.
The listeners win, I think.
Yeah.
Next one is from Loliant, aka Mexican Tony. Who do you think you are doing the BGH live stream during #TheWiz?
Yeah, I was actually pretty interested in that. It looked kind of cool.
Yeah,
That
me
was
too.
that was on
good
our-
cast.
on our
Ease on
TV
down. Ease on down.
as I descended to record this podcast. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched that Peter Pan thing and it was delightful.
Oh my god.
Getting awful.
Just
Next
because you
one.
guys hate whimsical things.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the SNL sketch. I'm definitely a boy. I'm so boyish. All right. Next one is from Ost Dog. On a scale of 1 to cinephilia elite, how horrifying is our Lord and Savior Stanley Kubrick #GoodJourning?
I don't know what that means so much.
Yeah, I wasn't clear what this was in reference to.
I will use this as an opportunity to say that as I gain in years, I have decided that Stanley Kubrick is the best filmmaker that has ever lived. And not only that, but as you read more about him, I have learned that he was basically like a mental level genius. And when you start looking at his films that way, you realize like this dude was on some next level shit. Like they're going to be digging crap out of his movies hundreds of years from now.
I concur on all fronts.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I have no idea what the fuck's going on in Eyes Wide Shut. I think that's.
To be fair, he was pretty old.
Do you think they're going to say the same thing about Ty West as the future?
I don't. No, I don't.
I can't remember where I was listening to a podcast or maybe reading about Eyes Wide Shut, but apparently like there's a lot of like the Tom Cruise Nicole Kidman marriage that, I mean, there was shit going on in their like real lives that got like basically put on screen. And like Kubrick almost like
they were
Jedi mind tricked Tom Cruise into letting it happen.
They were constantly walking into rooms with hundreds of naked people wearing bird masks. Well, that was the thing.
But you got to remember, the whole beginning of that movie is just the two of them in that hotel room. She's naked or like wearing that like see-through thing. He might be like, I don't know. He's like in the bathtub or something. I don't. There's
really tiny.
Save it for the next staff pick, John.
But for real though, Kubrick. Like if you're sleeping on any of Kubrick's movies, get on that.
Yeah.
There's some great like Blu-ray collections too that have like a bunch of them packaged onto one thing. So
he did some awesome stuff.
I think the only one I haven't seen is Paths of Glory. Is that what it's called?
It's very good. Like that. What is it? That Platoon and I forget what the third one is. It's supposed to be like his like war trilogy.
He didn't do Platoon.
He didn't do Platoon.
What the fuck am I thinking of?
Stone did Platoon.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of
Oliver Stone has
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket is like to me like top 5 all time movies.
I didn't even know they stack shit that high. All right,
running next one. Crack at your mama's ass.
Next one is from Iona Goodwin. Not a question. Joe should sing more often on the show.
Agreed.
I think Joe sings the appropriate amount on the show.
It's probably true.
Joe sings just enough.
He sings every show, so I mean, I don't. Could there be more of it? I don't know. He's already scatted twice.
And that was just in his pants. Next one. Blue Daisy 90. Joe tweeted out, send it out to your Ask BGH hashtag and we will read it on the show. So this was a response to that. Blue Daisy 90 says, will you really? Hashtag bitter. JK, you always read mine. Heart. Have you ever had a tweet too offensive / weird to read on the show? Definitely.
Oh,
yeah, no, I self-censor tweets a lot. Nah, we do ignore them.
Not a lot.
Very occasionally we ignore them. Way more often, I just change words because, like, if it's really funny, I'll read it. But if it's just crassness for the sake of crassness, I feel like we are.
We have received. I can't. Think
I've moved on from that point in my life. I'm just saying.
Right. I can't think of examples, and I won't even repeat them if I could remember them because that would defeat the whole purpose.
It happens on
them.
like a weekly basis. I can tell you.
There are some problematic things that we get that we don't read, and like we try to censor it a little bit. Eric has called me Ron Burgundy multiple times because I'll just go ahead and read shit without.
It's less actually in the tweets and more in the emails, which is why you guys wouldn't see them because it's mostly just me. A lot of times it's changing them as I'm reading them. I'm sure the people who wrote them are at home like, he left out my slur. Yeah, son of a bitch.
You left out my goddamn slur.
Yeah.
Last one from Robale, also not a question, but a good insight. I totally voted for it being the movie we just watched because I saw it on Netflix constantly, like Mark.
Well, thanks. Oh, whatever.
They did. I don't know.
Hey, listen. I'm not like upset we saw it. I'm glad that the patrons get to vote on movies. I think it's a great thing we decided to do.
I'm just sort of.
But I reserve the right to break their balls about it. I think that's fair.
I'm just trying to figure out why they pushed it so hard. Like, it's not like it was like an Eli Roth Presents thing or like something like a...
You mean on Netflix. You're like, why Netflix was pushing it so hard.
Right. You know why? Because Netflix's selection sucks now.
Yeah.
It's terrible. If The Office... I watch The Office every day. I'm not making this up. It's pretty much the only thing I watch on Netflix except for the show. If they get rid of Netflix tomorrow, I don't know what's on there that I would give a shit about watching.
Friday Night Lights.
I mean, I do like some of the original. Like, I really like that Kimmy Schmidt show.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But generally, like their movie slide, I feel like they're getting they are getting kind of squeezed out by other stuff like Shudder and Hulu and places that are and
Well,
Amazon.
Yeah, is getting
places
really
that are really
aggressive.
driving hard to the hoop when it comes to securing content. Like in the beginning, they were the only game in town.
Speaking of
It's just
securing
different.
content, if you can't find a movie on Netflix and you want to watch it on Amazon, you could go to Amazon, or you could go to killer-flicks with an X.com,
Yeah.
find the movie
Mhm,
and rent it
mhm.
from there. And we get a nice little kickback, and you get a fun little app to play with.
You know, like I find it's funny. I found myself actually, my wife and I using Redbox on weekends because sometimes I just actually want to see a new movie.
Oh, yeah.
As much as I hate like having to do that, you know.
Man, there is a level of shit that is not even good enough to make it to the fucking bottom of the barrel on Netflix, and that stuff is all in Redbox. That's like
They always have the latest Adam Sandler, like 20 copies of it.
We still get the wife and I still get like DVD deliveries from Netflix for that exact reason.
Well, like Redbox, I don't like, but if there were actual physical video stores around, I feel like I would be more okay with going.
Oh yeah.
To that. There used to be literally until like 3 years ago. There was one I used to go to when I was living in Boston before that had like a horror VHS section that was like glorious, and of course they went out of business. But I mean that was like 2012.
It's all those damn HD TVs.
They're ruining things.
Yep.
Spending upwards of tens of dollars.
The price
on
of
them.
TVs is too damn high. Info at bloodygoodhorror.com. We're also on Twitter at BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. One last thing I want to talk about tonight, guys. Batman versus Superman.
Haven't watched it yet.
Am I the
Also
only
haven't
one?
watched it.
Am I the only one that saw the full trailer and thought, "Wow, that looks dumb"?
I didn't watch it.
I think the whole internet.
What are you
said
guys
that,
doing?
didn't they?
Are you guys not on the internet?
I don't know. Like
I don't have a
Warface
desire to see it
time?
either way. Like even if it was good or bad.
I keep going back and forth because I first thought Ben Affleck really, and then some of the early teaser stuff I was into, but these last two trailers have just been weird, real weird.
I think Ben Affleck gets a bad rap.
I just
enjoy
don't,
his work.
I don't like him as
I
Batman.
mean, who gives him a bad rap? The man's been like nominated for fucking
Lots of people are
Oscars
not
and stuff.
crazy about the Affleck.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen,
he
I've
did,
grown
like-
to be more of a Matt Damon guy. I'm just gonna
He's
say it.
clearly not a very nice husband.
It's a
or
binary
person,
question. You
but-
can't like
Is he?
Damon and Affleck. It's only one or the other.
What?
No, didn't well, whatever. I'm not. Now you're just saying crazy things, but yeah.
It's late.
No, my wife was telling me that Ben Affleck like cheated on what's her name with the like nanny.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, they're
really?
getting
I didn't know that.
Is that how you get all your news now, John? Just secondhand through your wife?
E-News,
well,
bruh.
news
celebrity
about
news.
Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck's marriage, yes, comes from Suzanne.
news.
I did not know that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that bothers me. I don't
You
care
can't
about
be married to both Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
That's true.
I'm always holding out hope that him and Yellow will get back together.
It's
my
the only
dream.
thing that he
Big
might have
Julie
gone
part
for.
2.
Yellow.
Team Benifer.
All right. Guys.
Why you gotta
I feel
go?
like
Trying to
really-
start a conversation there, and then everyone went, nope, haven't seen it.
I mean,
Yeah.
You guys
will
are some
watch it
sad,
on-
like nerds. You're just nerds like me. You should have seen it. I'm just
I
gonna say it.
can't summon excitement about anything else until Star Wars comes out. So,
That's
Maybe a
fine.
heads up.
You got to keep up with these things. I'm
there-
ordering you.
do I really?
Is there not a scene where Batman is wearing a pea coat over his bat
He's
suit?
got like a beaten up trench coat over his batsuit, and it looks
I
real
saw
dumb.
I saw a clip of that. I have not seen the new trailer. I just saw that clip and was like, why?
Like, was he trying to be incognito because he still has a bat helmet on?
Head,
and
yeah,
so-
right. Okay, that's my thought.
Yeah,
Why?
it's
Why?
And Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor, real weird.
Ooh.
Although I like him,
Yeah, I forgot he was Lex Luthor.
I'm fine with him. BloodyGoodHorror.com. Tell me about something happening there, so we can wrap it up.
There's a website.
Yeah, we've got new reviews every day. Sophie posted a drinking game today. Sophie, do you want to talk about that? I'm deflecting.
So the first Thursday of every month is Thirsty Thursday, unless I forget, which happened once. And I post a drinking game. So for this month, it's Life Force, the Toby Hooper joint that did not do so well. About space vampires who turn people into raisin puppets.
There you go.
The best kind of puppets.
The Burbs was another one.
Ooh,
Yeah, The
so
Burbs
good.
and Lost Boys and Scream. I think that's all that's been covered so far.
Yeah, so if you like getting drunk and watching movies,
Every time you
Thirsty
see
Thursdays.
a oiled up Rob Lowe poster on Corey Haim's wall, drink.
Yes, that is definitely a rule.
Yeah.
Well, and there's the geography lists now, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's a thing that's starting. So through some brilliant chatting among all of the Bloody Good Horror writers, we are going to be doing some lists that we have loosely penned the United States of Horror. The first one came out this past week, and it was Chris, I believe, doing 5 Appalachian horror films. Joe just submitted one that is not yet published that is for 5 New York City films, and we're going to be going through various states and regions of the United States and recapping.
7. There's actually 7, Mark.
There's 7? Great. That's awesome. I haven't looked at it yet.
Please talk about Chud and how unhinged Daniel Stern is in that movie.
I think most of my Chud comments were how Mark looked exactly like was it Daniel Stern in that sort of phase of his life.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. We got to do some pictures back.
If that finds its way edited out of the list, it wasn't me.
All right, guys, that's it. Check us out on patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror and youtube.com/BGH video. You can see my playthrough of Party Hard. That's going to do it for this week, folks. We are headed into the year end, so keep an eye out for that. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
See you.
Take
Goodbye.
it easy.
Yeah, I don't know. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.